Mystery at Blind Frog Ranch. The Utah desert lay heavy with silence, its barren ridges shimmering under the relentless autumn sun. Blind Frog Ranch, so often a stage for secrets buried beneath earth and stone, had never felt more alive with danger. The land seemed to pulse with unseen energy, as if the ground itself carried an unstable breath that might ignite at any moment. The uneasy beginning from the earliest hours of dawn, the crew sensed that something was different. The ground beneath the dig site felt warmer than usual, releasing faint vapors that rose like restless spirits. Instruments planted along the shaft detected erratic spikes in pressure and temperature. The readings shifted too quickly, suggesting volatile elements stirring deep below. Shadows lengthened across the pit, and a low hum echoed through the cavernous tunnel. Some swore it was machinery. Others believed it was the earth itself vibrating with suppressed force. But no one could deny the sudden smell of sulfur wafting up the shaft, sharp and acrid, filling lungs with warning. For weeks, excavation had pressed deeper into forbidden layers of the mountain. What was once a controlled dig had now crossed into treacherous zones of trapped gases and unstable mineral pockets. One wrong move with machinery could rupture the delicate balance, turning the mountain into a weapon against itself. Signs of impending disaster evidence piled up quickly. A section of timber reinforcement snapped without warning, its splintered edges charred black, as though touched by heat from within. Pools of water collecting at the tunnel floor carried an oily sheen, glowing faintly in the lantern light. Tests revealed methane mixed with traces of hydrogen sulfide, an invisible enemy waiting to ignite. Tension thickened among the team. Every metallic clank echoed louder, every spark of friction felt like a match hovering near a powder keg. Sensors confirmed the risk. High concentrations of flammable gas trapped inside fractured caverns, enough to trigger a chain reaction that could reduce Blind Frog Ranch to rubble. The crew debated retreat, but curiosity and obsession held them fast. Hidden riches and ancient mysteries beckoned from behind the unstable walls. Each vibration of machinery became a gamble with destiny. The flicker in the cavern deeper inside the mountain, a pale glow emerged from a newly revealed fissure. Unlike sunlight, this light seemed alive, rippling faintly as if the rock itself emitted energy. Some interpreted it as luminescent minerals. Others feared it as plasma, a volatile discharge from unstable gas. When a handheld device was raised toward the glow, the screen scrambled in static. The magnetic interference confirmed that unusual forces stirred beyond the rock face. The fissure widened as the soil shifted, and warm air burst out in waves, carrying the unmistakable hiss of pressure release. The sense of danger sharpened. One slip of a drill bit, one careless move, could trigger an eruption. And yet, behind that glow, lay the possibility of long-sought treasure. An underground chamber whispered about in old legends of Spanish gold and Aztec relics. Unnatural tremor-be mid-afternoon, tremors rippled through the mountain. The ground quivered with subtle, rhythmic pulses, as though the mountain itself had a heartbeat. Loose stones tumbled down, striking helmets and echoing with hollow menace. Dust clouds drifted like smoke, choking the narrow passageways. Team tested for seismic activity, only to discover the vibrations didn't match natural patterns. Instead, they rose and fell in irregular waves, almost mechanical in rhythm. Some feared the shifting gases themselves caused the mountain to convulse, creating the illusion of something alive beneath the rock. Each tremor intensified the risk. Methane pockets stretched like invisible balloons, waiting for a single spark to turn the tunnels into a furnace. Race against time, the crew devised a desperate plan. Vents would be drilled to release pressure safely, allowing gases to escape before they reached explosive levels. Yet drilling carried the very risk they sought to avoid. Every borehole was a blade pressed against a swollen artery. The men and women above ground paced anxiously, watching monitors flicker with unstable readings. Pressure levels dipped slightly, then spiked violently again. The mountain groaned, as though aware of their attempts to bleed it. Meanwhile, storm clouds gathered above the desert, casting the land in shifting darkness. Lightning forked across the sky, each flash a terrifying reminder of the spark that could end it all. Rain began to fall, thin at first, then harder, seeping into fissures and carrying minerals into volatile mix. The land itself seemed to conspire against those who dared disturb its secrets. The ominous discovery near dusk. A breakthrough came. One venting shaft revealed not only gas but fragments of ancient timber charred long ago. Analysis showed traces of pitch and tar, substances used historically for sealing chambers or for trapping intruders. The crew realized they had pierced a chamber deliberately hidden centuries before. Inside that chamber, gas had been building for generations, sealed by human hands who perhaps knew the danger it posed. Whether it was a protective curse or a strategic defense, the result was the same: a deadly time bomb buried beneath Blind Frog Ranch. Artifacts hinted at Spanish mining expeditions, with carvings etched into scorched beams. But no gold surfaced, only the clear threat of death. Whoever placed those timbers had ensured that any attempt to break in would risk unleashing fiery ruin. The pressure peaks night fell, and the mountain grew restless. Instruments screamed warnings as pressure rose to critical thresholds. Venting shafts could no longer keep pace. Methane hissed through cracks, whispering across the darkened tunnels. Lanterns flickered, their flames stretching long and thin as gases thickened. Above ground, generators hummed, their sparks dancing dangerously close to invisible clouds. Every breath carried the sharp sting of sulfur, burning throats and eyes. The storm overhead rumbled louder, lightning bolts striking closer with each roll of thunder. The crew faced a dreadful choice: retreat and seal the tunnels, abandoning years of work, or push forward to stabilize the chamber, risking the explosion that haunted every step. The final gambit, the decision, came in silence, marked by grim determination. Reinforcement crews lowered specialized foam into the fissures, designed to neutralize volatile gases. But the mountain resisted. Pressure surged again, forcing bursts of steam through cracks that hissed like serpents. Inside the cavern, the pale glow intensified, casting eerie shadows across jagged rock. Instruments failed one by one, their circuits fried by the magnetic interference. In the eerie silence between tremors, the ground exhaled with a deep, guttural roar. The foam spread slowly, but for every pocket sealed, another fracture hissed open. Sweat-streaked, dirt-stained faces, and every heartbeat matched the ticking of an unseen clock. They knew time was running out. The narrow escape airs, the final chamber filled with neutralizing compound. A violent tremor shook the mountain. The fissure split wider, and a deafening roar burst from the depths. For a moment, it seemed the explosion had come, a wave of heat and pressure rushing through the tunnels. Yet, just as swiftly, the surge subsided. The foam held. The gases stabilized. Pressure readings began to fall, though dangerously slow. For hours, no one moved, waiting for confirmation that the danger had passed. At last, silence returned. The storm cleared, leaving the desert under a canopy of stars. But the relief was tempered by dread. The chamber was not empty. It was guarded, rigged centuries ago with lethal intent, and it still concealed secrets untouched, waiting behind unstable walls. Aftermath and suspicion morning revealed the damage. Support beams lay shattered, equipment destroyed, and sections of the tunnel collapsed under stress. Yet the team survived. What they uncovered was not treasure, but a warning left by those who came before. The threat of explosion was not entirely gone. Gas continued to seep from unknown fissures, promising that the danger might one day return. And within the sealed chamber lay something deliberately hidden, something powerful enough to justify booby-trapping the land itself. The episode closed with uneasy silence. The mountain still breathed, still whispered, still held its secrets. The threat of destruction had passed for now, but the knowledge remained. Blind Frog Ranch was alive, and it would not release its mysteries without a fight. Dawn found the basin glazed in copper light, the cottonwoods along the creek holding their breath as if the first breeze might set the whole valley alight. The pit at the center of Blind Frog Ranch yawned wider than it had the night before, its rim bristling with cables, foil flags, and the thin bones of scaffolding. Nothing looked settled. The dust hadn't decided whether to rise or fall. The air itself wore a metallic taste, as though it had forgotten how to be air and was practicing something more dangerous. Overnight monitors had drawn jagged graffiti across their screens. Pressure spikes layered over temperature surges, then dropped away in clean vertical cuts that never happen in nature unless nature is cornered. The crew moved with the crisp movements of people already listening for a sound they couldn't name. Even the ravens roosting in the old fence posts seemed to be weighing the merits of staying versus leaving.